I'm happy exactly the same way, and even more because we've been through a lot of things, good and bad things, and that's what did create this fantastic experience. And about to be proud is I was proud to be appointed as the national coach here, because the national coach is, you have responsibility not only towards players or a club, but towards a whole country. And I would say I'm not proud to be here anymore, but I'm proud that my players have given so much joy to the country and to the people here. It was the last 5-6 months have been very stressy, very busy, but also very exciting. Well, I think it did, yes. I think it did, because three centre-backs, you don't always play three centre-backs because you want a stronger defence. It's not that. It's I was convinced for the balance of the team regarding the players we had. I was convinced that was the best way to do. And I think the players, yes, it took a bit, took quite a lot of games for them to understand exactly what I wanted about this way of defending. But I think now they have shown it was the right thing to do. I'm not saying it's going to be like that for the next 10 years, but I'm just saying with the players we had and we have, I think it was a necessary decision. Now, I think the toughest game we had was against Czech Republic, because they were physically very strong. And I think our players were not so much ready for that. Even if we drew 1-1 against them, I think we are quite a bit lucky to get a point, because they had a lot of opportunities. I remember Mamardashvili has played a fantastic match that day. And I would say, yes, Spain also was difficult, but for other reasons. I think a lot of players were very tired, not just in their legs, but also mentally, because we qualified for the best of 16, and it wasn't expected by anyone. And I think the players after that, I think they gave just everything for the first 3 matches, and had a lack of mental energy for the match against Spain, but it was normal. I couldn't say anything bad about that, because they gave me so much, and I'm sure this competition, even if it was a big success for us, I'm sure this competition also is going to give us more confidence, and even more, it leads us kind of, also for the future. It tells us what we have to do, what we have to repeat to have that again, to have a World Cup, to have a European Championship again. We know now where we have to go through. If you look at in the past, in Georgia, there was always good players. Georgia always had good players. Sometimes very good offensive players, sometimes were more defensive players, they were good, but Georgia always had good generation of players. So I don't think it's only because of this generation. But I think this generation maybe at some point did understand maybe quicker, or maybe they understood that to achieve something, you don't achieve something as a player, but you achieve something as a team. And I think because they did show a team spirit, a fantastic team spirit, since now, I would say, the Nations League 2022, for me was the moment maybe where they started to feel we can do it, but we can only do it as a team and not as an individual. Because for a long time, for example, we only had Quara. Quara was the best player, and he had a lot of responsibilities, and even the other players were, I think, they were hiding a bit behind him. But at some point we had other players that came out, Mikko Tadze found his way, Kiteshvili did reach such a fantastic level, Coach Orashvili came, then other players could also take the responsibilities. And I think that's, for me, one of the reason why we made it is because a lot of players took the responsibilities. I forgot also Mamardashvili, of course. And then the team had more balance between the ones who could do something, the ones who would then defend. Then it was a good mix. It was a good mix, not only individual players, but a good mix as a team. I don't see Nonikashvili as the same profile as Kiteshvili. And I think Kiteshvili, yes, gets some injuries, but less than in the past. In the past, he was nearly always injured. Now it's a bit less, because I think he works better. And I have to say also about his level, because, I know I don't want to say Quara is not a good player. I'm not saying that. Quara is a fantastic player. But I also would like sometimes the people in Georgia to see how important Kiteshvili is in the part of the success. On this position, with the three midfielders in the center one, for me, he has reached such a great level. And we have seen the match. He was there, against Portugal. How many things changed just because of him, And I want to give him a lot of credit to that. But as I said, also Coach Orashvili was a great discovery. He came a bit late because he had some problems before. He wasn't playing often in his club, but also we can talk about Chakvetadze. Because Chakvetadze was a big talent in Georgia, but then got so many injuries that he disappeared for nearly 3 years. Can you imagine 3 years? It's massive time in a football career. But he worked so hard to come back, and also he brought us so much things. He brought us positive energy, and now to come back to Nonikashvili, he's still a young player. It's going to be his first with us. He has to take his time. He has to understand what we want in the national team, because it's different than what he was with Sabortalo, Iberia, and now in Ukraine. It's different. It's a different level with different expectations. And you always need a bit of time to digest that. But if he's here, it's because I think in the future he can bring us something. And I hope he will. So I'm very excited to meet him, because I never met him as a football player. And so, yeah, I'm excited, but it's the same like with Gadrani. He's a bit older, but he will have a chance to show that he can belong to the group. Casho is my captain, and if he's my captain, it means I rate him very good. And we have a lot of discussions with Casho all the time, because he's somebody who wants to talk also, and we have a lot of conversations. And sometimes I'd like him to understand that at his age, sometimes he should maybe play a bit less, because I think he plays too much. You have to keep going for training every day, all the time, because training is important. But maybe sometimes he does play a bit too much. But I'm not his father. I'm not his wife. I'm not his boss in his club. But I'm happy. I'm happy to have somebody like him, because he's a great captain. He's a great captain. He knows how to speak with the others. And when there's a problem in the team, he's also the first one to come to me and say, "Hey, there's a problem. We have to fix it." And for me, it's a great relationship between coach and captain. The one I have with Casho is the perfect one. Yes, there are some players who could be Georgian for football. Some came, like you said, Mikotadze. We have tried with some other players, but they didn't want. Sazonov came also. It's every situation is different because you can't force somebody to come here if he doesn't want. National team is you have to come because you want it. If you don't want it, even if you're a great player, no, it's better if you stay at home or play with somebody else. Maybe in the future also it will happen because in the last 20, 30 years also a lot of Georgian people went abroad to live. In Greece, in France, in Germany, a bit everywhere. They are spread a bit everywhere in the world. And so I'm sure in the future you will see more and more players like that. But it's because of life. It's not because of football, it's because of life. And the ones who can join the national team, of course, we are always in touch with them. And sometimes, they say, no, I'm not ready now. Maybe let's wait another year. I want to be sure of my choice, so we'll respect that. And maybe in the future we will see more, but I don't know. It doesn't just belong to me, it belongs to them also. We had a lot of talks and little fights with David. Because when I arrived, I was questioning myself if he was really motivated to be here. I could see he was very good centre-back, and I could see I would need him a lot. But I had some doubts at the beginning of his investment in the national team. And so we had a lot of talk and even sometimes some fights, but somehow he found his way and he found a new motivation to play with us. And I was happy. I remember his Nations League 2022. He played the 4 games in June. He was the only one to play 4 times 90 minutes. So it does say a lot about my trust about him. And, then he had to stop because of his knees injury. I had exactly the same age, 31. Maybe he's 32, but I was 31. But we went through a lot of things together, and he should know my door for him is always open. If he needs something one day, I will be always here because I think deep inside him is such an interesting person, and he's a really good person. And as I said, yeah, if he wants to come one day, if he wants to join one day a manager career, I will be very happy to help him. I think we all know how to maintain this standard of performance. We all know we have to keep working hard. That's the only way you can hope for a good future. You can't say, if we do that, we will reach that. No, in football, it doesn't work like that. It's not like a company. If a company does invest a lot of money in something, they know they will make money like that. But in football, it's not like that. So the best way is just to work hard and to forget a bit what happened in the past. The players will have to forget, I will say, the emotional part of the European Championship. They have to keep the experience in their head, but they have to use the future as a new project. They have to see the future as a new project. Football is only about cycles and projects. And they are going to be my first words I will have with the players when we meet on the 4th, 3rd, can't remember, 2nd, Monday the 2nd, I think. It's going to be my first words to them. It's finished. The happiness and happy country, happy boys, and it's finished. Now it's Czech Republic and Albania. Because Czech Republic and Albania, they don't care about our European Championship, but they do care about performance. So that's for us also, we will have to care about performance. We have to use this Nations League first to keep getting points for the FIFA ranking, because a lot of things depend on that. The groups for qualifications depend on that. So you have to take points. That's that's the way it is. I'm not saying we have to win, but we have to take points. That's the first thing. And also to use this European Nations League, but to become even stronger in order to play good World Cup qualifiers. As a coach, I don't see football maybe like people will do when they watch football, saying, oh, he's playing number 10. What is number 10? Nobody knows what is number 10. What's important is, with Napoli now, he has a more central way of moving, and his areas where he goes are more central, but it's what he does with us since 2.5 years, except certain match where he was still a bit on the left, but most of the games, he was together with, for example, Miko Tadze or with Zivzivadze, so he was already central. So I'm happy that he's playing also more central with Napoli, because I think Quara is how do you call that? Is the kind of players who make the decision. And players who make the decision, they have to play more central because they're close to the goal. They can score a lot of goals. They can do good assists. And that's why I changed him from his left wing to having a more center positioning with us, because we did need him in this position. Since I'm here, I have done certain games with a lot of players from the National League. Now there's none. It's not my decision. Players make the decision. Players have the decision. If they're good, they come. If they're not good, they don't come. And I just think at the moment, there's no players in the National League with the right level to help us. It's maybe they would have the level to come in the national team, but the ones who are now at the moment, they pushed the level higher. And it's for me, wherever you are, doesn't matter, but you have to be good. You have to be good. And I think at the moment, and I've been watching, as I said, nearly all the games of the league all the time, sometimes in stadiums, sometimes on videos. But at the moment, I don't see any players in the league who could help us. I feel a bit sorry, but that's the reality. Maybe there are some young players who are slowly coming. We can talk about Salia, maybe in Dynamo. Maybe he can have a nice future, but it's not up to me. It's up to them. And the best example is, for example, Kalandadze, a year ago, had the level and the potential to play with us. But I don't know, 8 months later, he doesn't have it anymore. And he should think maybe why he doesn't have it anymore. It's not always just about the clubs. It's also about the players themselves. I don't have long-term ambition, because my ambition is already what we are going to do against Czech Republic and Albania. I have to focus on that. And sometimes, it has no sense to think about longer things or about things in the future if you're not capable to cope with the things that are happening now. I think at the moment, the most important for me is I have to give my whole energy and everything I can to make the players understanding the European Championship is over. And now we have to focus on something else. If I can make it, then I know maybe after that I can have some more ambition. But that's my first ambition, it's that. To restart a new project already next week with the right mentality for it. I would say we have a lot of offensive players, quite good offensive players. In midfield, we've got 4 or 5 players. Kochorashvili, Kiteishvili, Chakvetadze, Mekwabishvili, who are quite on a good level now. And maybe behind that, we have a lack of maybe players on these positions, and also in the centre backs. Kvirkvilia is getting older, Kasia is getting older, Gveleziani is getting older, and behind that, sorry?
Who's coming?
Yeah, that's why also Tabizezia is not so old. That's why I want to see Gadrani absolutely, because he's 26, so he has also quite a long future behind him. Kalandadze is still young. It's that's where I see in the future, in the 2-3 years, where we have to improve is in this position more in the centre back. Yes. I have to say, and especially since the Nations League 2022, the fans have been amazing. Even the day when we lost 8-1 against Spain, they didn't stop singing the whole match. Even after, in a lot of countries or a lot of clubs, fans would have left the stadium already, and they stayed till the end to help us. And I'm just saying it was amazing, and the amount of people who came to Germany to support us there, it was just fantastic. But one thing can't work if the other thing doesn't work. The team can't have high performance if they don't feel the support of the fans. And it works together, And the fans, they need to know that the players give everything also for it. It's together. One doesn't work if both go in separate ways. I don't know if they are good habits, but no, I'm joking. I don't know. I think I'm French, and I will always stay French. And how French people are. They like to complain. They are never very sad, or they are never very happy. They're always a bit average. And I think I will always stay like that because that's the way I am. But I think what I will keep for the rest of my life, it's friends. And I think that's the most important. I think I will, in the last 3.5 years here, with certain people, they will stay friends, but friends, as we say, friends forever. Not just friends, let's go and have a beer together, but really friends forever. And I think that's maybe it's the most important, to make friends in life. I will say life is never completely shit or completely great. Maybe I will tell George and be like French a bit. It's because here you're very, very happy very quickly, or very, very sad very quickly too. And for me, sometimes it's tiring because I never know how it's going to be tomorrow. I never know tomorrow how my players are going to be, or they're changing a bit. They're changing slowly. But that's also what I would say, yes. It's, sometimes it's hard, but it's not because it's hard that we can't make it. And sometimes we have made it, but we want to make it again. So we have to work hard again. And, it's that your up and downs are not so up and not so down, but it's but at the end, maybe not, because if you were not like that, maybe I will not appreciate you as much. And so, it's maybe we should not change and stand the way we are. Huh? Stay Georgia, I'm staying French, and we're happy like that. It depends when. When you come here in August, there's no traffic, so it's great. City's great. September, it will be different again. But the traffic, yes, traffic is massive. I would say, maybe that's still the same things, but please don't take your car just to do 100 meters to go and buy your bread. Please walk to it. Or if you are with a friend in the car, and if you need to drop off your friend somewhere, don't drop it in the middle of the road. Please park your car first. But no, the traffic is. But I know the traffic is also atrocious for Georgian. Georgian people complain also. But yeah, traffic. Maybe that's the only thing I would change.